Well, my dear students, friends, if I say Mitro, it becomes a big joke. So I will call it Mitro. So it's better I address you people as my equals rather than friends or Mitro or so on and so forth. I wish to put 4 or 5 things together in one go. Number one is that I I strongly do not agree with the students' action as far as AC meeting is concerned. It never happened and it should not happen again. We as a teachers, we indeed feel disturbed. There were people who were raising the voice for UP for the cause, and it indeed makes a lot of difference when such kind of incident happen. It never happened in the history of JNU and it should not be repeated again. It is, to me, it is not a wise decision on the part of students entering there. That is one. Second, the suspension which the university has used is totally unconstitutional, is totally unjustified. You are holding student guilty without having any kind of a proper inquiry. I strongly condemn that kind of an action of the university, and it is must that the administration should realize the fact that the ways in which the suspension order has been worded, no court of law ever approve that kind of a language in which it has been worded. You are pronouncing the person guilty without institutionalizing any kind of an inquiry. And this is what is concealment. This is what is nothing more than protected ignorance. Like, your knowledge formation process in the university is aimed at what? Whether it is being aimed at killing your ignorances, or is it being aimed at concealing those ignorances, maintaining hegemony, and maintaining a perennial slavery. If your knowledge formation process, if the objective of your knowledge formation process is to kill ignorances, then it becomes a righteous knowledge formation process. But if it is not so, then it becomes protected ignorance. It becomes unrighteous means. You may say that yes, the knowledge formation process has to have a rationality. You must initiate rational thinking process among all. No doubt about that. And the philosophers may argue, yes, rationality is always relative. No doubt rationality is always relative. But it depends on its objective. If the objective of the rationality is to kill ignorance, it becomes a righteous rationality. And if the objective of the rationality is not to kill ignorance, it becomes unrighteous rationality. It's a very simple thing, which comes from the theory of Pratyuta Samutpad. And it empowers you to unfold everything. But here, the Puranic tradition, which is being all the time being imposed upon and all the time is being talked about, is all about concealment. It will never empower you to think differently. As long as you remain the slave of these kind of philosophies, this kind of belief system, the idea of divinity, the idea of sacredness, the idea of your social practices as that of the Supreme One, you will never change. The whole idea there has to have an enabling process. If there is no enabling process, what's the use of having degrees over here, or for that matter anywhere? Then the next important aspect is that of the UGC regulation, which is completely draconian in nature, which is totally unconstitutional. When you go with many of the judgments of the Supreme Court, be it is a Mandal judgment or be it is the post-Mandal judgments, it completely violates those judgments and the interpretation of the Constitution. Let me also tell you, people talk about the discretionary power and authority. Who has created this? When the constitution of this university was being made, who made it? Those so-called intellectuals supposed to have a visionistic, some kind of a future vision. Is this a future vision that you are empowering a person with a discretionary power? Who is responsible? They are the one who have created this whole idea of discretionary power in the constitution. Even Baba Sahib did not give any kind of a discretionary power and authority neither to the president nor to the prime minister. One has to think while making the constitutions of the statutes of the universities. And suppose somebody is using it, and when it favors you, you think yes, it is right, and when it disfavors you, you said everything is going wrong. You have to introspect. What kind of an introspection you have done so far? Has there been an introspection? Has there been an introspection? Probably the Indian society would have been a different society. It would have gone towards casteless society. It would have reduced the discrimination. It would have realized its own sins. It would have realized its own behavior, which is very psychotic. It's a psychotic perversion. Caste is a psychotic perversion. Gender violence is a psychotic perversion. You are living in the psychotic perversion. Is that the society you wish to create? And is that the discourses you want to see? Do you want to see only anarchy? There is no solution to the anarchy. There is a solution to the anarchy. Baba Sahib offers solution to the anarchy. When he is discussing the problem, he is also offering the solution. Now I come to the judiciary. This judiciary you are talking about, and we are we are hoping that they are the upholder of the constitution. Now the judiciary which allows statue of Manu in its own premises, do you think it is a righteous and a rational kind of a judiciary in this country? You have to think. First you have to talk about it. I have not seen any Supreme Court judgment coming, any judge coming together and saying this is nonsense, you remove that idiot. There is no such thing coming. Why? That is precisely because there is this whole aspect of caste fraternity that goes into the making. Fraternity is very important, but it is a fraternity which has to be anti-caste. The fraternity has to be very righteous fraternity. The fraternity that will create an enabling process for equality, for making a very, for creating a shared aspiration. It is fraternity that creates shared aspiration, and it is a shared aspiration that creates nation. It is not a religion that creates nation. It is this whole ideology of shared aspiration that creates nation. It cannot be created by your power of gun. It cannot be created by power of violence. It has to be based on the humanistic principles. And the and the whole these things, the consciousness. What kind of a consciousness so far has been generated in the country? As long as you block Phule Ambedkar consciousness, people are not going to change. Let me tell you. There won't be any change. I have not seen any parties engaging in the social transformation, including left parties. What left has produced, it has produced a wonderful trade movement, and what the trade movement has produced, one has produced Durga Puja, another has produced Ganpati Puja. This is the fallacy of our trade movements. So you need to understand this syndrome of cultural slavery that goes into the making, that becomes all the time getting re-inscribed. And therefore your consciousness of belief in divinity and belief in your social practices becomes the supreme one, and it overrules. And that is why Baba Sahib makes a very good differentiation between what is rules and what is principles in the annihilation of caste. So you need to generate that kind of a consciousness, and without that consciousness you cannot have any kind of a survival, you cannot have any kind of a change. So this kind of a consciousness has to be talked about. You need to dissect them, you need to differentiate them, you need to create, you need to critique them, and at the same time, like some of the philosophers, they say ki, oh, remembrance is an act of retrospection and introspection. Arey, there is a retrospection all the time. Where is introspection, yaar? कौन सा इंट्रोस्पेक्शन किया है? बताओ कौन सा इंटेलेक्चुअल ने इंट्रोस्पेक्शन किया है? I have not seen any intellectual making any kind of an introspection. Had there been an introspection, their writing would have been different. It would not have been hegemonic. It would have created an enabling process. There is no enabling process. If you read likes of Homi Bhabha and all, कोई enabling process नहीं होता. If you read Foucault, it will never create any kind of an enabling process. Let me tell you. Your consciousness has to be very clear. You need to have clarity in your thinking. You need to adopt these kind of methodologies in order to dissect your own knowledge production process and your understanding. So I request you that the whole idea of giving these kind of memos and rustications is totally unjustified. We are with you, and what we demand is that it should be withdrawn and proper committee should be constituted for the inquiry, and then later on whatever finding comes, then it can be acted accordingly. But this is a totally unjustified, and I hope our university somehow, somewhere wakes up and does not sleep like a Manu. Thank you.